the 60s. I mean, it's still, and as the book shows, it's still all rattling on, really, isn't it? It is so much, and it is exemplified by Bond and the Beatles, the sort of class system in England, especially, I have to say, but the United Kingdom, because we're all together in this horrible mess.
Yeah.
Ian Fleming being the kind of public school upper classes versus the Beatles being, generally speaking, a much more sort of working class phenomenon.
I think the thing that convinced me I had a book was reading a thing that Hanif Qureshi wrote about the Beatles, which is brilliant. And obviously Hanif Qureshi, good luck, get well, and all that sort of stuff.
Sure.
He'd written about when he was at school, his music teacher had taught him that the Beatles were a hoax. That there was no way, those four lads from Liverpool could produce music that was self-evidently better than people who'd gone to the right schools and came from the right families.
Yeah.
It was just impossible. So clearly it was like one of the better spoken people, like Brian Epstein or George Martin, was sort of behind it. And he was taught that at school. And Qureshi said this really insightful thing. He says he came to realize that his music teacher had to think that, because otherwise it would take too much away. Like his entire worldview, his sense of identity was structured on the belief that people like him were superior.
Yeah.
And then along came the Beatles, and the whole thing just became a joke, just became absolutely. And you can see the real sort of collapse in, deference to the upper classes over the period of the Beatles. When they start, if you look at Hard Day's Night, when the bowler-hatted character comes in and he wants the window open and they want it shut, and there's four of them and stuff like that. The question of whether a character like that you were supposed to sort of, tug your forelock to, was still, at the country at that time, still being debated. In the Bond film of that year, Goldfinger, a bowler hat is a weapon, right? It's a thing to be feared, it's a dangerous sort of thing. By the end of the Beatles, the upper classes were a joke. So you get like Monty Python doing the upper class twits and all that sort of thing. The whole sort of glamour around them was just sort of destroyed over that decade.
Yeah.
And you can't. It would have happened anyway, but with the Beatles as the focus, it really happened.
Yeah.
Really quite excellent.